Carlisle informed Mavs owner Mark Cuban he will not be returning this season. Carlisle, who won an NBA title a decade ago, had 2 years left on his deal, and the decision comes one day after the team fired longtime GM Donnie Nelson yesterday. We now have 7 head coach openings in the league. Carlisle had been with the team since 2008, tied with Eric Spoelstra for the second longest tenured head coach with his coach in Mavericks history. With Carlisle stepping down, 3 of the 5 longest tenured coaches entering this season are no longer the head coaches of those squads. Senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski broke the story earlier this afternoon, joins us now on SportsCenter. Woj, what more can you tell us about why Carlisle is not coming back to the Mavericks?
Kevin, I just think ultimately relationships had been frayed in Dallas. I think Donnie Nelson's departure as general manager left Rick Carlisle in a place where there's a new top basketball executive coming in that you haven't worked with, that you don't know, that you may not know whether you fit with him. And I think for Rick Carlisle at this point in his career, in a marketplace where there's multiple head jobs open, and Rick Carlisle goes out into that marketplace with a championship, that 2011 title with Dallas, it makes him unique out there. And I just think his time and his run in Dallas after 13 years was over. That's a long time to coach anywhere in this day and age.
Woj, you mentioned relationships. That's the key here. How does this decision by Carlisle and yesterday's move with Donnie Nelson affect Luka Doncic's future in Dallas?
I don't think it affects it at all, Kevin. He is in line to sign a $200 million extension once free agency opens. And listen, I think Luka was very fond of Donnie Nelson. You heard him talk about that in that statement in Europe earlier today. But ultimately, he's focused on signing that deal. Now he leaves it to Mark Cuban to go out and find a general manager, to hire a head coach. You know, there is an assistant on staff, Jamal Mosley, who's been a top candidate for other head coaching openings. Luka Doncic is very fond of him. I certainly believe he'll be a candidate in this process, but the chance to coach Luka Doncic, there'll be a lot of interest around the league in it. But Mark Cuban told our Tim McMahon that he's going to hire a general manager before he does a coaching search.
Okay, let's talk about action tonight. Kyrie Irving out again for the Nets, but James Harden is available tonight as Milwaukee tries to force a Game 7 back to Brooklyn. What's at stake here for Giannis and head coach Mike Budenholzer and the Bucks tonight heading into Game 6?
Well, since I was a kid, he was the one that drafted me. It was tough for me seeing that. But I'm not the one making the decisions there. Marc Spears, you hinted at this yesterday. What do you make of Luka's comments?
Well, the playwright Sophocles once said, no one loves a messenger who brings bad news. I'm sorry, Dallas. I tried to give you a heads up. I knew you guys weren't happy about it, and neither was a lot of the Homer media there. And that's okay. I think everything will eventually work out. Luka has a great manager, Laura Beth Seeger. Bill Duffy, his agent, is a great agent who has had such international superstars as Steve Nash and Yao Ming. He'll take the money, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll figure it out. But when there's smoke, there is fire, and there was fire today. That I warned you about. That's it.
Oh, Rachel, look, in order to keep Luka happy, I know I am saying water is wet, but isn't there only one answer here? And that is to win. They need to go and win. And yes, that means it's easier said than done. They need to come in and potentially bring in a player who can also break down the defense, who can be a second option. They need to address whatever's going on with Kristaps Porzingis and Luka, all of this stuff. But he said, I'm not the one that's in charge here. Maybe he's a little bit more in charge than one thought. Now, I don't think he's going to turn down a $200 million contract, especially with that smile he threw us when he was asked about it at the end of the season. But win. Just go win.
Well, look, yes, he will sign the extension. We keep saying that. No one's trying to take him, quote, out of Dallas or any of that. No. But clearly there needs to be a little bit more buy-in. And I always think it's actually very smart of organizations that take their star players' opinions into account.
Superstar Luka Doncic is said to be very unhappy with the firing of longtime GM Donnie Nelson. Luka is eligible for the rookie extension worth a projected $201 million. And when asked how talks between the two sides are going, Spears' people to Luka are saying, quote, what talks? Okay, Key, you think that Luka is going to stay with the Mavericks his entire career?
I don't.
Based on everything that has been going on of late, I honestly don't. A couple weeks ago, Luka said, hey, they asked him about his Supermax extension. He said, well, why wouldn't I entertain that? And then now what Spears is saying is that conversation hasn't even taken place, and it may not take place. So when you look at that, you look at what they did in terms of firing Don Nelson, someone who Luka's been knowing since his teenage years. That affects certain people in certain ways about how you feel about an organization. And if you truly are trying to win a championship, sometimes certain cities, towns don't attract the type of players that can help you win a championship in today's NBA. This is not NBA of old, where the general managers are selecting the free agents. The free agents are selecting the team. So if Luka has an opportunity to go play maybe in an Atlanta, maybe in a Miami, here in New York, he certainly can take advantage of that, especially from an international standpoint. Just imagine if he came to New York and became a New York Knick and duplicated the same success that he's having now the rest of his career in New York, which means another superstar joins him. They go on to capture NBA title. He'd be the toast of the town, not only here, but internationally. You could build off of him. LeBron James wanted to sign him to a signature shoe deal. Okay, that tells you something, because Luka has that appeal and that ability. In Dallas, can you get a real bona fide superstar to help you win? Nobody in the NBA that I can think of has won a NBA title by themselves. They've all had another Robin to Batman. Can he attract that in Dallas? I don't think so.
First of all, you even putting him on the Knicks is a setup. You did that just to distract me, I can't debate you, because you know what that does to me. I mean, I started tingling, I was just thinking about it. I closed my eyes for a minute and was like, can you imagine? And I said, stop it, because we've been doing that for way too long.
I'll put him in LA with the Lakers then. AD, LeBron, and Luka.
And I will tell you why I don't imagine him wearing another uniform for the most of his career, because we never know when guys get later in their career. First of all, Mark Cuban is too smart of an owner. He knows what he's got. He also knows that no one can offer him more than they can at $200 million. He can offer that, and you're crazy if you turn it down. Now, it's a brilliant strategy to, if you're Luka and whoever's, his side, to start saying, you know what, I don't know if we're going to sign right now, because you don't like what's going on right there. Donnie Nelson was somebody he was close to. That was somebody that had success in that front office, and things have changed there now with a shadow GM that they've got going on there. But if you're Mark Cuban, you do listen to your players. In fact, he said he does listen to Luka. But should a 22-year-old be making front office decisions?
Yes!
Or should you already know what he needs because you have a good relationship with him and you understand his game and what makes him great? So, has Dallas ever attracted free agents? They never had to. Have they won a championship? Yes, they did. Why? They drafted well. They got Dirk Nowitzki. Then they built around him. They were able to get key players. They were able to get another star, like a Jason Kidd, who helped him win a championship. So you just got to do what Donnie Nelson did before he was let go, which is build a roster properly around your star that you drafted. So listen to the kid if he has something to say, but you don't seek out his advice. You should know him by now. You should know what he needs, what makes him tick, what fits with him. And if it's not Porzingis, you've got to bite the bullet and make a move. But whatever it is, you do not let him go. You keep him on your roster. You keep him in your franchise, because he's not just the face of your franchise. He's going to be the face of the league. We just talked about it. Mark Cuban, too smart of an owner to do what a lot of other owners might do and panic in this situation. He can handle the business.
It's not about Mark Cuban panicking. It's about Luka wanting to stay in Dallas and play. You mentioned Dirk Nowitzki. How long did it take Dirk to win a championship?
Yeah, 10 years.
It took him 10, 11 years. Does Luka
He had gotten to a finals before, remember, though. He had been to the finals. He'd been to the promised land.
Sit around and wait for us to get some aging superstars around us to win a championship? No, he doesn't. When you have an opportunity to go to a big market, be an international player
Don't do it.
in a big market. The market doesn't have to be here. It can be LA, it can be Chicago.
No, it should be.
It could be Atlanta, it could be Miami.
Please say it again.
It could be New York. But if it's not, there's opportunity out there. There's a lot of opportunity. When there's smoke, there's fire. You know that.
Well, you have Han over here in his feels. I mean, should Luka go to New York? Who knows? He'd be right across the bridge from the Nets, who are banged up heading into tonight's potential closeout game in Milwaukee. Kyrie Irving still